So this is about a thing they did at Yale, you're saying?
Yeah, there's this doctor there called Robert Grover. He does applied physics stuff and he's a big golfer. And he found in his research that golfers are creating one part of force going back and then two parts of force going through. And that's how they like swing so consistently and resonantly, he calls it. Most golfers are going about one part of force going back and like 8 parts of force going through, you know. Take kind of real soft and then they try to get it all, you know, get all the speed there. So he said no matter like what club or the distance, they're always going with one part this way, 2 parts that way.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you've been watching the channel recently, you've seen I've had some really big revelations about the golf swing and really what the nature of the golf swing it is and what you're trying to do if you're trying to be consistent and powerful. The biggest revelation is that the forces in the golf swing and how they work. So listening to Dr. Grover, who is an applied physicist from Yale, he talks about in a full golf swing, for every full golf swing, there's one part of force being used on the backswing and then double that force, 2 parts of force being used on the downswing.
The thing that's different about elite athletes, the best athletes from everybody else, is that they learn to use their bodies as springs. That is, they learn to drive their bodies at the natural resonances of their body.
I'm at the store today because Dr. Grover was able to figure that out, not only with the math of it, but he was able to figure it out through an actual physical study. The study that he did to really figure this out in the real world is here. We can watch it.
So if this is a spring, I can apply a force and watch how it moves. So we did the same thing with the golfer. We asked the golfer to apply a force back, but we had to measure that force first. So we attached a rope to the golf club, and it had a little sensor that measured how hard the person pulled back. And then while that person wasn't paying attention, we cut the rope. So they'd be pulling back and pulling back and pulling back, and all of a sudden they'd move because the rope would get cut. We measured how big a force they applied, and then we watched how their body moved. So the bigger the force, the further the body would move. But what about the tempo? Should the tempo matter whether it's a little force or a big force if it's really moving at resonance? No. So right, it shouldn't matter whether you apply a big force or a small force. If the body is really moving at resonance, then it should always be the same amount of time to go back. So that's the experiment we did, and that's where they drive it.
So that was really interesting. So I'm going to try to replicate that study today, but also I'm trying to figure out a way to make that into a real-world training environment. So I'm coming to the store here because I have an idea of how to do something like that with these luggage scales. So I'm going to grab two of these, and you'll see why I'm grabbing 2 rather than just 1 later. And I really hope that these are mismarked, because I don't want to buy 2 of these for $27.24. I thought they were supposed to be $5 each. The other thing I'm going to need for this is I'm going to need, I think, some fishing line and some pliers and a golf club and some help from my friend Boris. So let's see if we can get all that stuff together. I think this is going to be really cool. All right, now I'm looking in the camping/fishing section. I might be able to use this because I need a string to attach the luggage scale to the backpack. And if anybody has a better idea of how to do this after watching the video, let me know. Send me an email, contactbettergolf@gmail.com. All right, this has nothing to do with this video, but I saw this and I was interested. For a long time, the Target and other places were putting Chrome Soft or Pro V1s out here just in regular boxes, and all of a sudden they would swap out Pro V1 for and put the Pro V1s inside of like a nitro box or inside of a noodle box or something like that. And then, so they would buy Pro V1s for the noodle price. So it's good that they're doing this because they were getting ripped off for a long time with that. I don't know if fishing is just super popular right now, but look, they got almost nothing for fishing as far as like the fishing section is just gutted. But I'm gonna have to be using a lot of string for this, so I got this, but I think, yeah, pulling on this actually, I think I need this. It says 60 pounds, does that mean that it'll hold up to 60 pounds of pull force? One thing I thought about doing, let me know if you think this is a good idea, but I think it'd be cool to take like 3 golf instructors and have them do a challenge where you send them to a hardware store, like Home Depot or something, and say, okay, you got an hour and a half to go into the store, then you can, have time to make it. But whoever can make the best, most useful training aid, that'd be cool. I don't know why, but I think I'll probably need duct tape. So let me try to figure out where, oh, here it is, good. There, super cheap utility duct tape. That's probably what I'll get. This is it, this is everything. So these 2 things I think are $5 each. This is almost $5. This is $5. This is $4 or something. So the tape, the string, the fishing line, and the scale. So I think that's everything I'll need to at least get an idea or start to get some forces and measurements here to do what I want in this training exercise. That's surprising. You gotta pull on this thing hard to get real pressure. Alright. I'd like to tie a noose. I have no idea how to though. That'll do the job. It's not pretty. So this is the idea here. One end is going to be on the weight. The other end is going to be on the club. I'm going to see how much force I can get. Oh look, actually that's cool. If you go like this, and whatever weight it was, it sticks there. That's actually really cool. See, set it to 0. Even if you don't know how hard you pulled it, it'll tell you. That's really handy. As I bought that duct tape, it was a good idea because I want this thing to be dead in the center to have more of a chance of being able to see it. See, when I pull it, I'll be able to see it a little better. Alright, so far so good. So this is going to there, from there to there. Alright, now I'm going to tie it to the shaft to try to figure out some way to get this shaft connected to the scale. Alright, this is my idea how to do that. Go like this. Loop it around. Don't make it like a normal knot. Just keep snaking the thing and follow. You go like kind of wrap around your finger a couple times, like this. Okay, like 4 times. Then go to the bottom and follow the line up. And in Grober's experiment, they put it about here, so that's where I'm going to start with it there. Put it there and actually tape it. Alright, actually this is coming together pretty good. Alright, now I need something to attach it to the club, between the club and the scale, but that can slip off easily. So attaching it will be the first part, and then getting it to be able to slip off easily when I think somebody else bumps it, knocks it off with their golf club. That might be the tough part. Okay, so the first part of what I'm gonna do, it's getting close. It's working out way better than I thought it would. Usually I have these ideas, you bring it out here and there's something you forgot, and today I forgot my microphone, but there's some kind of piece of equipment you forgot, or it just doesn't work in the real world the way you thought it would. Right now it's working out pretty well. So the first part of this is I want to replicate the experiment of Dr. Grober. And I'll be able to do that with the video and then with the scale. So I want to write down a correlation between how much pressure I put on the scale when I'm trying to make a backswing, but I'm being stopped by the rope. But when the pressure of the rope goes away, then how far my shoulders end up turning. That's what we're trying to figure out, is the relationship there between force and backswing length. And then that's gonna add into how far you should hit the ball. And that's why I'm wearing this shirt today, because this will make it in the video review easy to identify. I want to put, okay, like 5 pounds of pressure going back equals 40 degrees of shoulder turn, whatever it is. Like I already saw that the maximum pressure I could put on this thing, if I grip the club in the right spot, I can put about, the most I can put about is like about 13 pounds of pressure on the way back. And I could see that when my right hand then came off of the club and my shoulders were freely allowed to turn from that amount of pressure, I took a full probably 110 degree shoulder turn on the way back because I'm pretty flexible. So that's the first part, is to correlate the amount of pressure with the amount of shoulder turn you take. And you can measure like ground forces and stuff like that, but the force that you're pulling back on it is really the thing that makes it act like a spring. That will be the real moment to see, like, okay, this is what the pros are doing. They're putting X amount of force back and X amount of force through. You don't want to put only 4 pounds of force back and then try to hit it 170 yards with your 7-iron. You want to put a proportional amount of force, 1 part back and 2 parts through. It's not as complicated as it seems. It's just 1 to 2. But the thing that is complicated, it is very hard to measure force. That's why we're doing this with the scales. And I think this is going to be an amazing way to train. So what I need from this is, this camera is going to be the thing that I use to catch the angles. So I just need to see my shoulders, and that's why I'm wearing this special shirt that I'll be telling the camera how much force it was, and then it'll measure that to how much shoulder turn it was, and then I'll put those together in a chart. All right, the way that they did this in the test at Yale is they had the Yale golfers make a backswing, they try to make a backswing, and it was being restricted by the string, just like it is here. And then they would cut the string and see how much of a backswing they made. The way that I'm going to do this, because I don't have somebody to cut the string or knock it off right now, I asked somebody to come, they might be showing up, but the way I'm going to do it is I'm just going to take my right arm off of the club, like let go, and then we'll see how far of a backswing I made. So when I'm taking my right hand off, there's no extra force I'm giving it to make the backswing. I'm just freely letting it go to wherever it wants to go, based on how much force I'm putting into the string.
It should always take the same amount of time to measure how much force you apply. And so this is the amount of force we apply, and this is how long it took them to wind up. And what you see is, even as you change the amount of force by a factor of 5 or 6, really make the force much bigger, that it always takes about the same amount of time for them to wind up. And that's a pretty good indication that they're working just like a spring. Doesn't matter how much force you apply, it's always going to take the same amount of time to wind up.
You could see when I put 2 pounds of pressure pulling back on the rope, and then I let go, I have a very short backswing. And when I put 15 pounds of pressure on the rope, I have a very full big backswing. And then everything in between. When it was 4 pounds of pressure, it was medium. When it was 8 pounds of pressure, 12 pounds of pressure, it was right in the middle. I think you're gonna see that correlate really well to the different distances I need to hit all the different shots. The key will be teaching my machine, my golf machine inside my body, to whatever I put on the way back, I've got to double it on the way through. Whatever it is that I'm doing on the way back, that's got to be double on the way through for a full swing. All right, now what I'm gonna do is you see I have a pretty good setup for the backswing force. Now I'm gonna set up something connected to this telephone post for the through force. I got basically set up, and you can see there's a spring on this side, which is there's a spring on this side and a spring on this side. So this spring is going to measure how hard you're pulling back this way, and this spring is going to measure how hard you're pushing through this way. So when I set this up, I didn't anticipate to find this out, but what's really, this is like, blew my mind, because I knew in the math that the golf swing is supposed to work at a 2-to-1 force ratio. So you make a 1-part backswing and 2 parts through swing in force. Like if there was a G-force indicator in the golf shaft, that's what the G-forces that the club would feel. What I didn't anticipate though is this. So I'm gonna pull back as hard as I possibly can in the backswing direction. Okay, that's as hard as I can go, which is about 16 on here. Now I'm going to push through as hard as I can. Oh man, that was hard. And that was 30. So my max forces that I can put into this, because of the mechanical advantage of having the right arm in a lower spot, I can push through with exactly double the force that I can pull back. So I can do at my absolute max, no matter what, is about 16 there. And my absolute max on the way through, no matter what, is 32. See, this is just over 30 here, and this is just over 15 here. So exactly double. Making a backswing with 15 pounds of force and a through swing with 30 pounds of force, that would be like my 124 mile an hour club head speed that you guys saw in my Bryson video. That would be like, you wouldn't want to swing your irons at that speed. If you're swinging at that speed, just, you know, hit another iron, you know, hit a 7-iron instead of an 8-iron. What I found in doing this is the perfect training force to try to train at is 10 to 20. 10 pounds of force back, and I try to train myself to feel, okay, what is 20 pounds of force going through? But feeling what 10 to 20 is makes the most pure, the most flushed iron strikes for a full swing. 10, 20. So we got, yeah, 10 and just under 20. So we're gonna try to nail that perfectly. 10, 20. I think that should be good. Yeah, I got just over 10 and just over 20, so that's perfect. So then when I hit this iron shot, what I want to do and I want to feel is the same forces that I just created there. I want to feel 10, 20. And that's about the force production that I want to do. I want to be a doubler. However hard I swing back, I want to swing double that on the way through. So I'm just thinking 10, 20. Oh, so good. So good. It's like one of the most pure iron strikes I've ever hit. That was great. 10, 20. So now I'm going to try to feel what would a 5, 10 feel like. Even though that would become more of a short game shot, you're training yourself to be a doubler. That's the most valuable thing I found about this. So I want to go 5, 10. Is that right? Yeah, I got 6, 12. That's perfect. So I want to go 6, 12. Oh yeah, really good. And you can correlate the different pressures to the different distances, and that's the next thing I want to do when I get a foresight or access to a foresight, is I want to start correlating the different pressures I create in the backswing with the distance that the ball goes in the through swing on a solid shot, and just keep training yourself to be a doubler. So let's go zero these out, and I want to hit this basically as solid and hard as I, to the limit that I would. So I'm not going to go 15 because that'd be a crazy fast swing, but I am going to try to go pretty darn fast. So I'm going to try to go about 13 way back and 26 on the way through. So I'm trying to train this. I'm
See, that's about 13 on the way back and about 26 on the way through. This would be a perfect thing to set up at home just to test yourself if you can always double what you're trying to do. So I'm trying to hit it really hard here. 13, 26. Yeah, I got 14, 27 or so. That should be really good. So it goes 14, 28. Oh yeah, that was really good. Where I think this is really going to get super exciting, statically feeling the forces and teaching yourself to be a doubler as far as 10, 20, or 4, 8, or 15, 30, is really, I think, going to help you understand how to make your golf swing more resonant and more like a spring. This is exactly the G-forces that the best players in the world are creating. They're getting 10 pounds of force this way, then they're going to do 20 pounds of force this way. They're doubling. But what I'm super excited about, and you got to subscribe to see this video, so hit the little subscribe button and click the bell so you get notified. This will be maybe, I think, a subscriber only thing. What I'm going to do is, well, I need somebody to be standing there, and as I create a certain amount of force here, so I'm going to try to feel like 10 pounds of force there, then they're going to take the club and they're going to hit this, and that's why I've bent this hook. You're going to hit this hook and it's going to knock it out of the loop, and I'll be able to, like this, hit that, and then and they're going to do that while the string is pressurized, and that's going to, let's say I pressurized it with 10 pounds, pull there, then hit that string out, and that's going to bring me back to here, and then I'm going to instantly react to that with double force. This kind of training, I think, is going to be like really, really huge to show people how the golf swing can work resonantly, which is basically the same thing as saying harmoniously. But in the training, the only thing you can really feel is you get that force going back, and then you're going to try to double it. And if you hit it good, it should correlate to a certain distance out there. Oh, really good. So that's what you're doing. You're training yourself to be a doubler. But I'm here. I should ask somebody. Hey, Phil. Can I ask for your help with something real quick? Okay. 1, 2, 3, go. Good. That was good. There you go. Cool. All right. Let me get the ball back more. Okay. 1, 2, 3. This is really exciting stuff for me because it's starting to address some issues. A lot of times I'd be hitting shots where every once in a while I'd be playing well and all of a sudden hit like the worst, most egregious shot. And I think that this is really training you in a feel sense to what it feels like to swing like a pro. And a lot of the technology and everything that you're seeing out today is things that you swing and you'll hit a shot, however you hit the shot, and then you'll go back to your phone, or you'll go to a video or something like that, maybe a few seconds, maybe like a minute later, and then it'll be an analysis of what happened. I think the real future in getting better at golf is things that you can train in real time and reactively. Here, I'm reacting to these forces that I'm creating, and then I'm trying to double on the way through. So it's here, it's 10, 20. That was really good. That was more probably like 12, 24. If I wanted to do 10, 20, because I flushed it and went like 20 yards over my target. So 10, 20, not to get too excited. Yeah, just like that. So you're teaching yourself to be more like a spring, and you're also connecting feel and real by, like, if I pull this and I want to try to hit 12 right on the button, boom, see how I did. 11. So I'm getting better. I'm going to use 11 pounds of basically G-force on the way back. Oh, so perfect. And just, I can tell that I'm onto something because I usually like will flush 1 out of 8 shots, and now I'm flushing like 1 out of 3, or 1 out of, or every other ball almost. Now you don't need the scale. You could just attach a string and just have something to pull on and just feel this pull, kind of like Henrik Stenson does. And hit like little solid shots like that. But the scales really challenge you to be able to become a doubler. So thanks for watching, everybody. See you later, bye. Let's try that one more time, Phil, just because I didn't get a good clean strike on it.
Why not, right? Why not? We're here.
I know. So just wait till I say. So I'm going to try to create about 10 pounds of force there. That's good. All right, go ahead. Oh, that was great.
Got it out of the way, too.
20, that works better. So that's the idea.
Slow you down on the backswing, really.
No, it's actually to speed you up.
So you put it
Most